Alright, my beautiful grade 10s, welcome back to another video. Alright, so we are still on trig graphs. Okay, we're learning the basic shapes of our trig graphs. So we've already done sine, and we're now going to do cosine, okay, or cos. Okay, so we're just going to jump straight in. Okay, so I want you to get your calculators out. Okay, I want you to find the cos button. Okay, and when we have our bracket, we're going to put in 0. And what do you get when you say cos of 0? You're going to get 1. Right? When you say cos of 90, you're going to get 0. When you say cos of 180, what do you get? Negative 1. And when you get cos of 270, what do you get? 0. And when you say cos of 360, what do you get? You get 1 again. Okay, so it's looking a little bit like the sine graph. Okay, it's not exactly the same, but it's a little bit the same. Okay, it is still a wave. Okay, so let's see how this looks on our Cartesian plane, on our graph. Okay, so here we go. So we started at x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1. Remember, this is my y values. Okay, y is 1. Okay, so I go to x is 0, y is 1, and there we go. I can plot that point over there. Let me actually put this a little bit higher. So this is going to be my 1. Okay, I'm going to label that 1. Okay, then I go to 90 and 0. Okay, so I go to 90 and I go to 0, and there's my next point. Okay, then we go to 180 and negative 1. Okay, 180 and negative 1 over there. Okay, please label that. Okay, that's 180 and minus 1. Okay, then I come up to 270 and 0. Okay, so 270 and 0, there it is. Alright, and then I've got 360 and 1. Right, so I go to 360 and I go to 1. Okay, and I can label that as well. 360 and 1. Okay, so you don't have to label every single point, guys. Okay, so this over here, I know it's touching my x-axis. I can see that as a teacher. I can see it's touching the x-axis at 90, so I don't have to label it. But if you'd like to, you may. Okay, 90 and 0. And the same thing here, 270 and 0. Okay, same thing here. I don't have to label that because it's on my y-axis. I can see that's 1. Okay, but if you want to, you can say 0 and 1 over there. Okay, it's not necessary, but this one over here is necessary because it's not touching my x-axis or my y-axis. I need to know where that is. And the same for this point here. I need to label those. Okay, alright. So again, I said it's a wave, so it's coming down. Right, I'm connecting here. Connecting these points. And I'm going to curl at the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to come up. I'm going to touch that point there. And it's going to come and it's going to turn over there. Okay, so now if I come here and I copy and paste this over here, I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to move it down here at the back. Okay, because I've got a domain of negative 360 to 360, and it's going to look like that. I can copy and paste it. Right, and now the top point over there is negative 360 and 1. Right, this over here is that 270 and 0, sorry, negative 270 and 0. Right, this here at the bottom is negative 180 and negative 1. This over here is 90 and 0. Right, and then I'm back at 0 and 1 over there at the top. Okay, so that's my basic cos graph. Alright, so how is it different to sine? Okay, remember sine started where? Sine started at 0 and it came up at 90 and it went down to 180 and then it came down to my lowest point at 270 and it came up. So it's a little bit different, okay, but it's still a wave. Okay, it's still a wave. Okay, so if you like, okay, here's a little clue for next year. Okay, look here. I'm going to highlight this part over here. So this is our cos graph. Okay, don't get confused now. This is cos. It starts at 1. Okay, and it comes down to 180, my lowest point, and it comes back up to 1 over there. Okay, so that's my cos. But now look here. If I shift this a little bit backwards, look here. Look, if I start at negative 90 and I come up and I come down again, right, and I come up again. Okay, what shape is that? That looks like my sine graph. Alright, so they're basically the same thing, just shifted a little bit. Okay, so that's a little clue for next year. Okay, so next year you're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. Okay, but that's just a little clue. But for now, it's just cos. It starts at 1, comes down, and it comes back up at 1 again. Okay, so let's answer some questions here. So it says here the maximum value, okay, of cos is 1. Alright, so it starts there. So there's, let me highlight here. So my maximum value, okay, my graph does not go over this green line. Okay, so my maximum value is 1. Alright, so there it is, 1. My minimum value, okay, the graph does not go below this bottom value over here, okay, which is -1. Okay, so that's my minimum value. Okay, my minimum value as -1. Okay, my range, okay, so between my maximum value and my negative value, my minimum value, okay, my graph exists in between these two green lines. Okay, so what is my range? It's my y values. So it's all the y values in between my maximum and my minimum. Okay, so my minimum is -1 and my maximum is 1, and it's all the y values in between and equal to -1 and 1. Okay, now the amplitude, remember from the last video, amplitude, okay, it's the distance between the mountain, okay, the mountain and the peak. Okay, so my x-axis and the mountain peak, or my x-axis and the valley over there. Okay, so that distance there from my x-axis to my valley, okay, is how many units? 1 unit. Okay, or we can use our formula and we can say, yeah, okay, it's half the distance between the maximum and the minimum value. Okay, so if I look here, my minimum and my max, okay, what's the distance between -1 and 1? It's 2, right? So my amplitude is going to be half of 2, okay, which is 1. Okay, remember amplitude, always positive. Okay, always, always, always positive. Okay, right. So my amplitude there is going to be 1. Okay, so now cos of x repeats itself. It repeats its basic shape every. Let's go check. Right, so I started at 0 and 1, and I come down and I go to 180, come all the way down, and I come all the way up to 360. What do you think is going to happen after this 360? Is it going to repeat itself? Yes, it's going to come back down. Okay, it's going to start over again. Okay, it's going to repeat, and it's going to repeat, and it's going to repeat forever and ever and ever. Alright, so it repeats its basic shape every 360 degrees. Okay, this repetition is called the, you should know this already, the period, right, from our previous video. Okay, so we can say that the period, okay, the period of y equals cos of x is 360 degrees. Alright, okay, so now let's just refresh. Alright, so we have all of this. We've got our max, which is 1, our minimum is -1, and our range in between my max and my min. Right, amplitude, we know what the amplitude is. Okay, it's the distance between my max and minimum divided by 2. Alright, and we know what our period is. Alright, so now our basic shape. Let's go to our basic shape of our cos. Okay, so we know it looks like a little bell. Alright, so it starts up there, it comes down, and it comes back up. Okay, it looks like a little bell. Alright, little bell curve. Okay, so we start over there. At what value? It's not 0 anymore. It's 0 and 1. Alright, so it's different to my sine graph. Okay, then I come down and I touch my x-axis. At what value? At 90 and 0. Good. Right, then I come all the way down right here to the very minimum value there, our lowest value, which is 180 and -1. Then I come up and I touch my x-axis again. At what value? 270 and 0. Good. Right, and then I come all the way up to my maximum value there at 360 and 1. Alright, so that's the basic shape of my cos graph or my cosine. Alright, so please, you guys need to remember those points. Please memorize those points, memorize the shape, right? And please memorize the shape of your sine as well, right? Don't keep watching these videos if you don't know the basic shape of this, okay? Don't get into my shifting videos or my stretching videos, okay, if you don't know these basic shapes, okay, because then you're going to be completely lost. Okay, all right, cool guys, and that's the lesson for today. Okay, I hope that was helpful.